Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to BattleTech. We have one last great big battle before we leave the system. I think 4.5 Skulls might be the hardest mission we've ever done. That said, we are very, very well outfitted. I'm not afraid. I think we can handle this. So, given that the amount of salvage available is pretty high and the amount of pay available is pretty low, we're only losing 100 C-bills for moving this up. I almost want to just go 522. We're hardly making any cash here anyway, right? But, realistically, how many good pieces of salvage do I think we are going to see? It's a 4.5 skull battle. They'll probably be pretty big mechs. Darius's best guess at the overall difficulty of the contract. Yep. Darius, you're something else, man. I'm actually very torn about this. Let's go... So it's going to be a recovery mission. I'm wondering if there's even going to be 22 pieces of salvage, you know? Like, if we take 522, am I just throwing away money for literally nothing? Let's go 417. I want to take as much salvage as possible here, but I'm concerned there actually won't be 22 pieces of salvage. 17 might give us the whole pool. No, let's just go all the way. It's only 100,000 C-bills. We are not betting a lot here. So, desert biome. We don't get to use either of our ideal pilots for this. I mean, Ricochet's not an ideal pilot. We don't get to use Saber for this. He took a little bit of a shot to the face, and then another one after that. We definitely need to have somebody who has 9 tactics on the job here. It could just be Centurion. Definitely not Reckless. Could be Rocket. Rocket does have sensor lock, which is sometimes really nice to have on the Grasshopper. We don't have anybody who has Coolant Vent, which is a shame. So it basically comes down to Rocket's sensor lock and getting to go earlier in the turn versus Centurion having sure footing and maybe getting some use out of Ace Pilot, although we have not gotten a lot of use out of Ace Pilot yet. I'm concerned that the ability to go earlier in the turn might not actually help us. 3 initiative might be the earliest anybody goes in this battle, because if we're up against 4.5 skulls here, I'm expecting the enemies to be pretty heavy, which means pretty slow. So I think we're going to take Centurion. We already have 2 sensor locks on the team. Yeah, I think this is fine. I hope this is fine, is maybe a more honest way of putting that. Boy, oh boy, do I hope this is fine. And then after this, we will go. Oh, you know what? I said that before this episode, I was gonna figure out where we'd been already and make myself a little map. I totally forgot about that. Hopefully, anybody who is watching this as it's coming out can look at the number of videos that have come out on this channel in the last week and understand why it might be that I did not find time to do that. It's been a busy time. So a pirate defector has given us an extremely interesting and time-sensitive piece of information. Before joining our side, this defector worked at a pirate facility on this planet. She claims she was responsible for extracting data from a device that sounds, from her descriptions, very much like a Star League-era memory core. We don't know what data is on it, but the pirates cannot be allowed to keep it. Alright, if this is the real thing, it's going to be defended like you can't even imagine. I hear what you're saying, but also, they are a pirate organization. It's not like they have access to the really good stuff, probably, right? Alright, if it's not just a fairy tale, the memory core will be in there. Move up so we can see what kind of firepower we're up against. Once we've secured the core, we can bounce. But also, given the amount of salvage we've taken, I am certainly incentivized to fight absolutely everything. Oh my god, the Atlas is never going to get to the battle.
Coordinates received.
On the move.
So, we're going to have to run the Atlas, through these valleys. Yeah, this is slightly non-ideal. So I guess we could have run it over here, and then it could climb down there, but I think that's not... I think it's actually more movement than what we're doing with it now.
Order acknowledged.
Alright, move up into
Moving
cover.
position.
Heading out.
Keep Eric the Red on the highest cover position. Give ourselves a chance with the
Waiting for
PPCs.
Heading out.
Alright, hold on. I want to see if we get a... Yep, we did in
Reporting
fact get a
enemy
contact
contact.
there. An 80-ton vehicle. Lord only knows what it might
Coordinates
be.
received.
I don't know that we necessarily want to move a lot closer. I guess, yeah, we do, because we're not going to be in optimal missile range to fire at things in the far part of the base.
Be there in a jiff.
For that same reason, we're going to run you down here and maybe be sad about losing our PPC positioning. Alright. This is an 80-ton vehicle that moves on 3.
I'm receiving you.
You know, I think vehicle pilots have skills. It might just be a plus initiative pilot or something. That's a demolisher. So yeah, it's a plus initiative pilot. Do we want to precision strike? It's a lot of damage, but we don't even have any other sensor readings, so we basically we get a whole turn alone with it. So we can maybe just save the resolve. We would have to get 180 damage through to its front parts. Like, obviously, if we don't sensor lock, there's no way we kill it with just the grasshopper. But I think we can afford to spend some missiles. I think this is okay. We'll just save the resolve so that we will be more ready for the next thing.
Receiving you.
Can we get... We cannot get direct fire. That's a shame. We did quite a bit of damage there.
Roger.
Alright, good enough.
Vehicle trashed.
So now we are at 49. At the beginning of the next turn, we will go over the inspiration threshold.
What's up, boss?
Pretty happy with that. That is an 85-ton mech that I am about to get vision of. Well, I mean, that's good, though.
On
We
my
should
way.
provide
Double time.
line of sight for Hellebore. We have here a Battle Master, piloted by an elite sentinel. No other enemies visible yet. So he is entrenched and bulwarked and guarded. And they have a Cyclops. It was not a plus initiative pilot, it was a Cyclops. This thing's loadout is a little weird, but it's a lot of damage. It's 150 damage of medium lasers. Plus the SRM-6, plus the PPC puts it in the neighborhood of 250 if it gets to land everything on you. Tough to core. Yeah, this is gonna be tough. It does have... It has its arm. It has its weapons nicely spread out too.
Ready for orders.
All right. Well, you probably want to try to climb up here.
Moving out.
Well, I have not made it easy for you to get up here. I'm not 100% sure what the right play is against a mech with that much armor and all those defenses. Like, does it even make sense to shoot here? I kind of think it doesn't. I should have sprinted. Yeah, right. I don't think shooting at that guy's going to help us very much. Alright, that is a 90-ton mech shooting a small number of LRMs at us. That is probably the Cyclops.
Come on, people. Let's make it happen.
I'm glad we picked off the what's it called immediately, the Demolisher. So I don't get to fire very much of my weapons anyway here. This is just... Let's get in vision of that Cyclops and figure out what we want to do. They do have another 80-ton vehicle back there. We don't know much about it. They put an AC-20 in their Cyclops Z. Interesting. They also put a bunch of ammo in the center torso. Okay, well, I can work with that. I'm going to fire a single laser at this guy, I think, just to strip his 1 point of evasion. Or maybe one, just the SRM-4.
Confirmed.
I can't do anything else of value this turn. And we already have cover, so our bulwark is active.
Yeah, Commander.
Who knows? Maybe that'll be a thing that I care about having done. Maybe I will be pleased that I did that. Alright, let's talk about this asshole. I cannot quite get into optimal PPC range from here, but that's fine. Let's just shoot at him from back here. If that is a demolisher, I don't want to give it any extra approach on us. Let's just go center, see if we can't take this thing out quickly. It's certainly going to take more than 1 mech worth of fire, but we can get started. Alright, get that Battlemaster to commit a little bit. I'm bummed out about the fact that 100% of the weapons it fired at me hit.
Orders.
That's frustrating. So here's a question.
Location confirmed.
Do we go for the precision strike here, which would push us below our inspiration threshold? Or do we just get the knockdown, and then... Oh, you know what? The only person who's left to go after this is Razor, and Razor is not going to be able to shoot at the Cyclops. So it being knocked down isn't going to help, and then it's going to get its turn and it's going to get up. So yeah, let's go ahead and
All right, I'll give
center
us all
lock
that.
and try to just kill it. Oh, that's a shame for him. We missed almost all of our shots on the middle. It did barely any damage, but he was keeping ammo in there. Right, and what is this? Is this indeed a demolisher? Sure is.
Good to go.
Okay, good news, it did not fire. This is pretty bad range, but... What am I going to do? Just not fire here? We have enough initiative, or we have enough resolve that I can precision strike him for a 75%.
On my way.
The odds of hitting with both of the AC-20s on that are bad. And that will mean that we do not have enough resolve to go for a precision strike with the Grasshopper. So no, I guess I don't do that. Maybe I just sensor lock it to pull its initiative? Or to pull its evasion? Yeah, I'm not going to fire with this thing until next turn.
Got a lock.
God, I wish it was a mech that had, like, reasonable jump jets or any ability to shoot people.
What's up, boss?
Alright, so we have to start with this, right? This is pretty important. That Demolisher has to die. I'm not going to call our shot here so that we have the ability to call a shot on this to finish it off and then still the Battlemaster. And we're not going to kill it with Eric the Red no matter what we do. There's just not enough guns. Demolisher is too heavily armored.
Commander?
What I really want to do is, like, get all the way in on this guy, right? If I hit him from this side, we could take out, was it 3 medium lasers and the PPC, potentially? But if the Demolisher doesn't go down, we're in, like, terrifying position. So maybe we have to go after that. You know what? I can reserve here. Because they both move on one,
Tactical advantage.
we can do this in a slightly different order. Yeah, look at how much better that is. Maybe we step up, shoot at this thing with the AC-20s. No, you know what? I shoot at the Demolisher with the AC-20s.
Coordinates received.
It's just too important. So, it does not have enough armor to survive a direct hit from the AC-20 on the front or the right. I think I just fire both the autocannons. It's possible for it to survive. I could hit the turret and the left armor. But it's pretty unlikely.
Confirmed.
Okay. Good thing we fired the second one.
Commander.
And now what we could do instead of jumping is just run in hard on this, or yeah, just like run in on this guy like this. Vigilance and take the precision strike. And then he's in real bad shape next turn. Jumping in is a little bit better. I'd love to be able to throw a punch next turn. I don't know if that's a thing that's actually going to be reasonable. Oh, you know what I don't want to do is get punched by him. That's a concern. Yeah, let's just move. Let's not get that close. Vigilance through his turn, and we will try hard to peel off this arm. It's a lot of armor. Okay, one missile went to the head. That's actually kind of nice.
Commander.
We didn't sacrifice a lot of attack damage there. We just got a headshot. Just got a little bit of pilot damage for basically free.
Heading out.
Alright, so we do not have a precision strike here, but what we do have is an awful lot of stability damage.
Firing a full salvo.
If we can unsteady him here and make his movement awkward, I think that's pretty good.
Target's taking a critical hit.
Alright, so he's unsteady, his weapons are a little screwed up, his armor's shot. Oh, we almost got the right torso off. Boy, he does not miss with that PPC. He might be in punch range. He sure is. Okay. So it's front or the side that I didn't deal any damage to yet. I think we go front. We'll see what this does as far as opening up a hole. There's also a chance that I'll just knock his whole right side clean off. Okay, I think that went center. Yeah, not bad. That was a very, very good version of that thing. And he's unsteady again, so we can knock him down pretty easily. Without the PPC, do I still knock him down? I'm not actually sure. So this is going to be 60 stability damage plus another 40. Yeah, that's got to be a knockdown, right? I don't think... Is that bar all the way full? Yes, okay. So the pilot now has 3 points of damage on him. Not that I think we're going to get this through pilot kill, but worth noting, 3 points of damage. I guess he might actually have up to 6 health. It's probably not a real concern. What is a real concern is that he's about to get shot with 2 autocannons directly in his center torso. Unless... Do I want to try to put together another Battle Master? Because we have so much salvage here. We could go for the head or like for the legs or something. I could try to just break him apart. We have the damage to get through the legs. Is that greedy? No, I'm going to go for it. Thing is, if I turn everything on and shoot at his left leg, I'm still probably going to kill it. Yeah, let's just core him and be done with it. So I'm going to turn off the missiles again. These will not be necessary.
Taking the shot. Might be some good salvage there.
Most likely didn't need both of the cannons. Alright, so I don't know where we need to go. There's no obvious landing spot for the Leopard. We're definitely not going to touch it yet.
Move order received.
We're going to sit here and let all of our heat dissipate first.
All right, but I'm ready to go.
Okay, I think that should
Ready?
do it.
Waiting
Yes,
for
we are
orders.
all good.
Ready for orders.
Let's have the Atlas pick up the thing, because the Atlas is not going to get destroyed. I have
Position confirmed.
a strong feeling about that. Alright, hold while the memory core is loaded onto our mech.
Confirmed. Holding and cooling.
We have any idea where enemies might come from? Not really.
Holding here.
Alright, area's been cleared. Darius is giving me green... Huh, that was it, really. Weird. Was that just a Battlemaster, a Cyclops, and 2 Demolishers? Huh. I thought for sure there was going to be another squad, right? That's why I made some of the moves I made at the end there. So I was assuming that there would be... We actually are going to get literally all of the loot, aren't we? I don't think my priority stuff matters at all here. And none of it's any good. Man. Alright, well, I'll take these. Okay, we got a lot of stuff there. We sure have a lot of AC-20s. 4.5 skulls, that. It's weird, because, like, it very clearly does not consider Demolishers to be as dangerous, or for purposes of the difficulty rating. It does not consider Demolishers to be 80-ton max, right? We've seen plenty of vehicles, like, the vehicle tonnage does not equal mech tonnage. That mission should have been maybe an entire skull less? I don't know, that was weird. Okay, so, we're traveling, right? I think we're going to go ahead and do extracurricular activities. It's just flashpoints, man. Flashpoints have good rewards. We need to do them. So, we need to figure out what we're doing for 16 days. And I think one of the things we're doing is we are working out a build for that King Crab. So, my initial thought about the King Crab was, do we really need another thing to mount a bunch of AC-20s on? And the answer is emphatically no, right? We already don't really need the Atlas to be outfitted that way. So let's talk about what we could do with this. I was thinking maybe it could become our new LRM boat. It has 48 tons of space remaining. Unfortunately, it does only have 4 missile bays, and they're all in the same part of the body. So the way the LRM launchers work out, it is 5 LRMs per slot. Right, the LRM-5 takes up 1 slot, this takes up 2, this 15 takes up 3. So, we can't actually jam that many LRMs in here. We have a plus 2 damage LRM-20, we have a plus 2 damage LRM-15, and a plus 2 damage LRM-10, and I'm just going to put in other LRMs here to display the space. So then we could also throw an LRM-5 in there just to fill it out, but like this is the number of missile tubes we're going to get no matter how we want to do it. Because that's how the space works out. That's already the number of missiles that our Cyclops is firing, right? This is the same as 2 10s and 2 15s. And we have 24 tons remaining. Now, this is not actually completely a fair comparison, because obviously we don't have any LRM ammo bays in here yet. So let's figure that out. So each of the bays is 120 rounds. We are firing 50 rounds per, right? 20, 10. We're firing 50 rounds per volley. So this is 480 rounds. If we put this in here, that's 600, and that makes 12 full volleys, which is probably overkill. Honestly, a lot of missions end with us firing like 3. So we probably don't even need this last LRM bay, but let's not take it out yet until we have some idea what we're looking at in terms of actual available tonnage. So then we have 19 tons remaining. And keep in mind, this is 19 tons remaining with all of this armor. If we make this thing a dedicated long-range fighter, we can probably strip some of the armor. We don't necessarily need this to have 1,300 or whatever it is. So what do we want to do then? We have 4 energy hardpoints and 2 autocannon hardpoints left over. We also have 4 support hardpoints, which we almost certainly will not use. 19 tons remaining. Well, my first inclination is to go autocannons. So we're already generating quite a bit of heat, and I think that the larger lasers get, the worse they get, sort of. Like, the medium laser is a great weapon. Even post-nerf, where they increased the heat and stuff a little bit, it's still a really great weapon. But, like, I'm not a huge fan of PPCs, to be perfectly honest with you. They generate way too much heat for the amount of damage they deal. So if we were going to put on some autocannons here, let's talk about autocannons. LRMs have a range of optimal 420, max 630. So, we could run some AC5s. Optimal 360, max 540. They do 45 damage on a hit, while generating only 8 heat. The more careful we are with our heat generation, the fewer points we're going to have to devote, the fewer tons we're going to have to devote to heat sinking, right? We have a bunch of plus 10 damage AC5s and some plus stability damage AC5s. I'm inclined to go with the plus damage. What about an AC10? What is the range on this? Optimal 300, max 450. Honestly, that's still pretty long. These do 60 damage base, but there's a 4-ton difference between an AC5 and an AC10. And we don't have any plus damage AC10s. So our best AC10 is still only dealing 60 damage. Maybe we do, like, what if I just put a pair of plus damage AC5s in here? That only leaves us with 3 tons left. That's probably not going to work. Well, but we can strip some armor, right? So, how much ammo is in an AC5 bin? 15 shots? It's like, if we pulled one of these, put 2 of those in, that leaves us with 2 tons plus whatever we want to strip, right? We would put in probably a comm system. We could install a gyro, but we don't really need to, right? It doesn't help that much. We could throw a stability damage reduction gyro in there, I guess. It doesn't cost any tonnage. Like, why not? If this thing's going to get hit, it's going to get hit with LRMs, right? And then, it's got to be heat sinks, obviously. The heat bank is hard to imagine that could be worth it. So, if we're talking about just throwing a ton of heat sinks in here, that's what we have for right now. What is the damage output on this thing's Alpha Strike? 350. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. It'll only do that on direct fire. Right now we're talking about a heat efficiency of... You know what? Honestly, we don't need that many heat sinks here, do we? Because there's going to be a lot of rounds where we don't get to fire the autocannons. In a round where we don't fire the autocannons, we generate 16 less heat. So only 48. This mech is actually relatively heat efficient if we're not firing all of the weapons all at once. And they're going to be, like, just due to the combination of slowness and not having any jump jets, there's definitely going to be a bunch of turns where the autocannons don't fire. So how much more fiddling with this do we really want to do? Obviously, this is not the real makeup. We're going to strip the missile launchers out of the other thing. I guess let's go do that now. I'm committed to this idea. So let's go take the missile launchers we want out of nobody. Hey, where are those missile launchers? Nobody has them. That's what I'm saying. I can't find them. Where'd they go? I'm telling you, nobody has them. All right, so let's get this back and this. So I'm sacrificing, like, there's some utility in all these, like, extra stability damage, extra crit missiles, but also there's utility in just doing so much damage that the enemy mech explodes. Do we want to just throw... I'll just throw some other 10-15s in here, like... Let's keep this thing together and functional. Hold on, we probably want to do, like, this and the 15 in the center. So that if we lose this side of the bot, we still have... But if we're going to do that, we want to switch which 15 is in the center. Yeah, I think we want it like that. Okay, let's relocate these big damage LRM launchers. So I think we're cool to put this thing together now. Unfortunately, I don't think there's a way to, like, save the loadout. Like, we couldn't have saved the work we did there. Even if I had hit confirm, in order to get back into the design, we would have had to have taken it back out of the queue, and it would have come. We would have come back into it blank. All right, so I like basics of this build. Oh, that's right, that damage value we were seeing was without the good missile launchers in it, too. I will say, you gotta be careful with this side of this mech. Are we actually getting a lot of value out of the LRM-5? It's an extra 20 damage. But what if I just, like, put 2 heat sinks in the mech instead? Maybe, right? Because obviously all these missile launchers are very, like, damage efficient and everything. Alright, hold on. I don't know yet. Let's say we do 2 AC-5 bins in the legs, which will be very far away from our foes. Put a bunch of LRM ammo bins in. Heavily armored legs at a great distance. This should be safe. And then, like I said, we can throw in one of our +3 resolve comm systems, because this thing is probably not going to need to be protected against injuries. I don't know that we do need to throw in the stability gyro. The thing is, how much do I expect this thing to be fired at? How much do I expect to need these gyros in other mechs? Because there's a bunch of our mechs we could redesign and put gyros into, right? Here, I'll tell you what. We'll put a 20 stability damage gyro in there, because there's no way we need all of these things. Probably. And then a little bit of heat sinking. I would love to put a jump jet in here, but we don't have any, and there's no shop on the system. So heat sink, heat sink, heat sink, heat sink. Where are we at on heat efficiency there? +16 if we fire absolutely everything with a 380 damage alpha strike. Maybe this is how we want to do this. Do we have any other, like, really fancy stuff we might want to include? We do have a plus missile accuracy TTS, which is 2 tons. I didn't even take any armor off of this. We could drop 2 tons of armor for this thing. Just all of our missile weapons will have 10% higher accuracy. We have pretty high accuracy with our weapons pretty frequently as it is, but, you know, sometimes you get a turn where the enemy has some evasion, or... It's certainly not useless. 2 tons is quite a bit of armor, right? Yeah. It's like 80 armor per ton or something, so... We'd have to cut a lot of stuff, or we'd have to cut a lot of armor off to make 2 tons, but we could also cut, like, a ton of armor and a heatsink. Because, like, our heat is really not that out of control. The thing is, we do so well without it. Yeah, we're very often able to hit with our long-range weapons. It's our close-range guys who have trouble. Yeah, I'm just going to build it like this. I think that is a pretty good mech. Average range? All of it. All of the average range. It is a shame that we're not taking advantage of this thing's extremely good punching a little bit better. 125 damage with 100 stability. DFAs for 250. Alright, so then we gotta talk about this Atlas, right? Do I actually want to change it? Because, like, when it gets in there, it really gets in there, right? The fact that it's slow and bad at getting close maybe isn't that big of a deal. It's like there are definitely a bunch of turns where it just can't do anything. We get way more turns where we get to fire autocannons when we use the Battlemaster. But also, when it does, like when it gets on something, it destroys that thing. I'm gonna keep it how it is for now, I think. We have enough work in the queue as it is to cover our next travel. Let's move the Orion back to the back of the queue. The King Crab is the most important thing. So we probably end up just passing you guys out like this. The Battlemaster takes up that slot. In my head, the organization is like, this is the A string, this is the B string, and then we just have a bunch of other slots arranged around them. We do still need to put together the Hunchback. This Cataphract could use some love. The place we're going, the thing we're going to, does this Flashpoint have tonnage requirements? No, it does not. So we're not in any hurry to put the Hunchback together, really. And there won't be anything to do on Brockway except this Flashpoint. I mean, we'll do the jobs, obviously, but... Alright, 34 minutes into the episode. I guess let's get over there and start the Flashpoint. Actually, that is the screen from which I do that. I could have just hit travel. It feels like I'm forgetting something. No, I don't think I am.
Bio command.
So this is a 3.5 skull difficulty flashpoint. This one might be a little bit trickier. I suspect we've never been to this world. The Draconic Combine would like us to know that they like us very much. We're doing good work for them. A new flashpoint was added in the New Valis system. We'll look at that in a moment. We are paying out for real to these to all these pilots. Where are we at on our... Oh, hold up. We don't have an Argo upgrade running. This doesn't really matter. Like, we're very obviously going to finish all the upgrades well before our time runs out. But we should have this upgrade out as quickly as possible.
Roger that, Commander. I'll get the crew moving.
Okay. Because who knows when we might take a bad headshot from NAC-20 or, you know, somebody could get splattered. And I would like for them to have a 5% chance of surviving their splatter. 5% extra. Alright, the King Crab is ready to make some people very unhappy. We're kind of getting close to the maximum possible drop tonnage, but the thing is, I just can't imagine, like, what is it going to take for us to get the Grasshopper out of our build? It's so good. Another sleepless night finds you pacing the mech bay. The door opens and closes, and you discover that Ricochet, who should be hooked up to a half dozen machines in the med bay, has entered the room. He's probably tired of being in the med bay. He's been in there for like 3 months. Without noticing you, he limps painfully down the row of mechs and stops. You realize he's staring up at the mech he was piloting when he received those injuries. No, he's not. That mech does not exist anymore. It was completely obliterated. A shuddering, half-stifled sob racks the mech warrior's body. Fists clench as he fights back the darkness. You know, I try to keep it pretty light in my commentary and stuff, but actually, I didn't think about this at all, aside from the fact that I was like, man, I hope he survived. The experience of getting shot, like, out the back of your mech, like, that must be horrific. Well, I could shout at him some. This seems like a good time for shouting, right? I am a soldier. Maybe we can, like, we talk about how, you know, listen, bad things happen to everybody. We'll commiserate. Let's try commiseration. That happened to me once. Ricochet spins around, visibly pained by the sudden movement. I was fighting for the Oregon Coalition, back before everything went to hell. A pirate shot my mech out from under me, put me in the infirmary for a month. I didn't know how good I had it back then. I wasn't in a hurry to get back out there, but I should have been. You put a hand on his shoulder. Remember that, Ricochet. You find something to fight for, something that matters. That's what's going to get you back on your feet, back in that mech, fighting again. It's always a roll of the dice on how a mech warrior will come out of an injury like this. Time will tell. Ricochet has gained the Honest tag. Huh. That's a weird tag for him to have gained from... Alright, well, whatever. That had a good outcome. Yeah, I feel bad for not having... That's like a truly terrifying experience, isn't it? Like, just imagine how far you have to fall. Well, he's going to be able to actually be back out when we arrive here, right? Yeah, he just got out of the infirmary. Probably he wants to get back out there, but I don't know. Maybe he deserves a little bit of an extra break. Alright, we'll get on this. Hold on a second. First of all, does this system have an actual store? Oh my god, it does. It's so beautiful. Yeah, just show me the weapons. Okay, well, it turns out they don't really have anything interesting aside from mech parts. Oh, I should get out the list. I should have had the list ready. Where are we at on these things? So we're cool on heavies. We actually still need one of the Locust models, but it's not this one. It's the 1V. Centurion, we don't... No, Centurion we totally need. I don't know if I want to pay 500,000 C-bills. I guess, you know, putting together the mechs that we're missing is a pretty high priority, though, isn't it? We don't have a Wolverine 6K. We have a 6R, but not a 6K. And I have enough money, especially considering we're about to... You know what? Let's worry about all this after the Flashpoint. How about that? Let us go here and level up our dudes, though. So at 3.5 skulls, and this being a Flashpoint, we probably should keep bringing top-tier pilots, especially since we know we're going to be doing a bunch of garbage jobs after this. I can have the newbies level up on those.
Standing by.
Orders?
So we'll just look at the high-tier pilots for the moment.
Mech warrior training complete.
What do we usually have Hellebore doing? He's usually pretty far back. Actually, plus overheat threshold is a handy thing to have. I don't know how exactly being a better pilot allows you to change the overheat threshold of your mech, because you must have pretty fine-tuned control of the way it bleeds heat off in order for that to be the case.
Training confirmed, Commander.
10-7, 10-10. She's close. Ricochet probably would have been our first quadruple 10 pilot if he hadn't been taken out of action for so long.
Good to go.
Yes, Commander.
I bet he's very excited to be good to go. Even after the thing that we saw just now. You should probably keep gaining piloting, actually.
Mech warrior training complete.
Given how close you usually are to trouble. And Sand Cricket. Yeah, you remember when Sand Cricket was B-string? He's really moved up in the world. Alright, let's start the job. Let's do the thing. 3.5 skulls should be very doable. What does Graf Steiner want now? Or Stieglitz, rather. Welcome to Brockway, Commander Ballard. I'm pleased that you've answered my summons. Not all mercenary commands are bold enough to attack Davian interests inside the Federated Sun's own borders. The thing is, I'm confident I'll be able to make it up to him. Brockway is a rugged, harsh world, colonized only due to its rich mineral resources. Originally held by the Concordat, the planet was seized by the Federated Suns after the Reunification War, and has been a Davian holding ever since. A job's a job, Graf Stieglitz Bradford. Now tell us what you want us to do. Darius is feeling a little short with him today. I will provide you with a set of coordinates. There you will find a Davian munitions stockpile disguised as a civilian warehouse. I want you to capture it. So you can steal the munitions? No, my dear, to provoke a response. House Davian will dispatch its nearest security lance to reclaim its stolen property. The commander of that lance is known to me. His name is Lord Jesper Bissett, and his father, Duke Royden Bissett, is an influential member of the Lyran court. Patriarch of House Bissett, a noble house of middling influence in both the Davian and Steiner royal courts. House Bissett's blood ties to noble houses in both Federated Suns and the Lyran Commonwealth have provided Duke Royden with a great many political advantages, which he has in turn leveraged to increase his family's political capital. A man of enormous stature and unquenchable appetites, Duke Royden is viewed as a charming bon vivant by his friends, and an uncouth barbarian by his enemies. His eldest son and heir, Lord Jesper Bissett, serves as a lance commander in the AFFS. Alright. Duke Bissett also happens to be one of my most tenacious political enemies. He is a vile man, a drunkard and a boor, and nothing would make me happier than to see his house disgraced. And so, Commander, when Jesper comes for you, I want you to smash his battle mech. Send him limping home to his father, blanketed in his shame. Okay, we're good at that. I can't promise you he'll survive. I'm not really good at limiting force here. I'm glad to hear it, Commander Ballard. Very glad indeed. Come to me when the job is done, and I will see that you're well compensated. This seemed like a very straightforward Flashpoint so far. This whole affair feels a little childish, but that isn't our concern. If Stieglitz Bradford wants to pay us to make his political rival look bad, I'm not going to say no. Let's do this, collect our pay, and get out of here. I'll be watching you from above, Commander. Darius, was that supposed to be comforting? Because it comes across a little bit creepy. Not a lot, and I know it's true already, but just like it's a little... Alright, so I'm assuming we're going to have like a half dozen contracts available here that are just absolute garbage, in addition to the Flashpoint. Yeah. I mean, we'll do them, because why wouldn't I? But it doesn't feel great. Alright, so we'll find the Davian munitions factory at the coordinates outlined, take it from them that it may serve as the bait for the trap I'm paying you to set. Okay. I'm going to go for 1 point of priority salvage. It's possible we'll see a mech part that we care about here. Doesn't feel super likely. Alright, let's pull out the nobody and put in this ridiculous king crab. I like the way the king crab looks. I like the mechs that are a little bit less human. And if we're taking this pretty seriously, is this the right squad? I mean, we're gonna overwhelm the opposition to such a degree here. Alright, so Ricochet's back with his piercing shot. The king crab is actually very heat efficient. I'm gonna put Ricochet in it. We're probably going to have to go right from this into the next engagement, which is part of the reason that I want to go like all the way hard on this. Let's not take any chances. Let's not let anything silly happen. Let's just ride these mechs all the way through the Flashpoint, right? My suspicion is we should find this fairly easy. We are really, really outgunning the requirements. This deployment is just set up for a larger fight to come, so try not to get too beat up out there. I'll see what I can do. Realistically, like, we would have to go up against quite a force for them not to just be torn apart by our two, like, very, very large assault class mechs. And then also Eric the Red is here. I wonder if maybe we might be better off replacing Eric the Red, or even just like having Eric the Red stay home and bringing the nobody instead. Is the point of initiative on everybody worth the fact that that mech is so much worse at fighting? I really don't know. Regrettably, I don't have any reliable intel to share regarding your Op4's strength or composition. I would recommend scouting ahead before engaging the facility's defenders. And remember, Commander, this drop is only the beginning. You're going to have another fight ahead of you, so try not to take any unnecessary risks. Hey.
Ready for action, Commander.
Don't come down here and tell me how to drive the giant robots at the other giant robots. I don't come to your fancy parties and tell you your sash is on backwards, even though we all know that it is. That's called professional courtesy. I mean, we're just gonna run at maximum speed directly toward the facility, right?
Acknowledged.
I've been explicitly told not to do this, but also, my lance is pretty much only a blunt instrument. We don't really have a lot of, like, tactics to apply anymore. We don't have any scouts or anything. Those are some fairly heavy turrets.
Waiting for orders.
Alright, I want to jump over here into the cover. Probably not. Let's just move the grasshopper forward, get vision. Alright, got eyes on the munitions factory. I'd recommend approaching with caution. I can't see anything else moving out there, but that could change in a hurry if we're not careful. I suspect it will. Boss, I'm seeing new energy signatures lighting up all over the factory. If their static defenses weren't online before, they are now. Well, it was bound to happen sooner or later. Get on those turrets. I'll call out any more hostiles as I see them. Yep, the plan here is to destroy both of these turrets this turn, so that these guys don't both get to fire at us no matter what they are. They might be able to do a sensor lock in a shot, but I'm not too worried about that. This one is more likely to be able to take fire from the Atlas, although I'm not sure either of them actually will be. So we'll start shooting this one with the grasshopper.
Turret destroyed, Commander.
We might actually be able to destroy 3 of the
What's up, boss?
things. No, Eric the Red definitely does not have the damage to get through this one. So actually, hold on. Let's reserve down. Try to be reasonably efficient about this. Can the Atlas get into firing range? No, it cannot. And I don't think... Oh, I actually can't sensor lock anything, so I just sprint. Yeah, I just want to be as far forward as possible.
Good to go.
Alright, and then the King Crab should be able to deal with that guy pretty easily. When we find a jump jet, I might want to... Or when we find assault jump jets... Actually, we can buy them on this system. I might want to reconfigure this thing so it has one or maybe... No, probably just one. Just so that we're not left in a situation where we have to be able to walk everywhere. Alright, this thing has 232 health. What do I actually have to fire? This is 110 damage. We get another 90, 60, like... 110 plus 80 plus another 90 is enough, unless one of the autocannon shots miss. And then we're looking at 120 plus 90. No, actually, we get this. Yeah, okay, this is what we'll fire. We get this even if one of the autocannons misses.
Locked on target.
And for the amount of damage we're putting out, that's very heat efficient.
Come on, people. Let's make
This
it
is a
happen.
pretty good build.
One less turret.
It might be worth stripping a ton of armor out for that other LRM bay.
On my way.
I do feel like we maybe are a little bit light on ammo. I guess out of curiosity, what is this one?
Sensors locked on.
Okay, a shredder, so that definitely was not going to fire at us.
Standing by.
Can you get a shot on that shredder? Ooh. Not a good shot. That's pretty long range. Whatever, all we have to do is reveal it.
Firing. Good to go.
So we can very easily finish this thing off like this. The Atlas will be able to sensor lock the other one. If they're bringing reinforcements in, they've brought them in too slowly.
On it. One less turret. Yes, Commander.
I'm kind of surprised the Shredder didn't sensor lock us. Usually, it seems like short-range turrets
aye.
have sensor lock. Oh, okay.
Yes, Commander.
Turns out it sensor locking us wouldn't have helped them at all.
Copy that.
Alright, so this time I don't get to fire my autocannons. So we're looking at 120 plus 90 plus 60. That actually still does it. Yeah, let's just get it done. And maybe leaving this thing a little bit light on rockets.
That turret is gone.
Yeah, I think I want to find that extra ton of ammo space. Honestly, I could probably even skip the armor removal and just take one of the heat sinks out. Because it is remarkably heat efficient.
Move order received.
As ever, I do not actually want to step into the thing while we have any heat at all on our mechs.
Stabilizing.
Acknowledged.
I've got eyes on hostile reinforcements. They're heading your way.
Okay, I am not really that concerned. Oh, we got contact right away. They spawned in pretty close to us. Well, I probably want either the Atlas or the King Crab to be the one... Oh no, it doesn't matter. This is not a mission where I'm picking anything up. It doesn't matter who walks in.
Standing by.
I probably just want to reserve and let them come to me a little bit more.
I'm here.
Boy, sometimes I wonder, have we fought every Thunderbolt that was ever built? We must be close, right?
Copy that, Commander.
60 tons, not exactly terrifying. Yep.
Target locked.
Just burrow straight through. This time we were smart and we only took 1 point of salvage. There's no sense in trying to preserve these things or anything.
Kill.
Quick draw 4G. Well, that's an embarrassing number of misses.
Good to go. Coordinates received.
Am I going to take this shot or are we just going to sensor lock it? I think I'm just going to sensor lock it. We can make this easy enough for other people to kill. I really don't like the odds there. Like, this is probably a fine thing for this Atlas to do, right?
I've been sensor locked.
Receiving you.
That said, it wouldn't be that hard for us to replace, like, one of the AC-20s with an AC-10 and just have it be able to operate a little bit more effectively at range. I'd feel a lot more comfortable doing that, I guess, if it had, if we had a plus damage AC-10 that we could actually get headshots from with a distance. Or with from a distance. And yeah, we just core this dude, right? Show me the actual percentages, please. Okay, do we need everything? I'm a little worried about our, about the state of our ammo, but yeah, actually, I think we do. Just in case not everything actually goes center. In fact, everything's not even quite going to be a kill. It seems like firing indirectly has a larger effect on your aim shots than it says it will on the percentage table. It's just sort of like anecdotal. I guess it's not really solid, but it sure seems to be the case that we do not get the called shots I think we're going to get when we fire indirectly. So am I going to center this guy? Do we need to? I could just give him everything and hope. About a third of our stuff is going to hit center. Yeah, let's just kill him.
Locking in all weapons. Enemy down.
So they don't have vision of us anymore.
Commander? Receiving you.
How much damage did we take on the Atlas? The Atlas reported major armor loss, but it sure doesn't look... I mean, okay. I guess that's a fair amount of armor. There's still a ton of armor left. I guess I interpret major armor loss a little bit more like I don't have a lot of armor in that location anymore. Clearly that is not what was meant. Can we get a direct shot on this dude here? I'd love to be able to put that PPC on him.
Position confirmed.
We're not going to aim, though. Let us preserve the inspiration buff for others.
Now let's see how you handle this. Yes, Commander.
So I kind of need to take a turn off of firing my guns. I might just sprint forward at full speed here. Can I do this in a way that gets me vision of whatever that other mech is? I cannot. It has ensconced itself pretty well in that little pass. So there's no reason for me to do this before their mechs take their turns. Alright, the Orion is choosing to wait until after my Atlas gets to shoot at it. That's a brave move.
Waiting for orders.
I think we should have pretty good AC-20 range here. It's okay AC-20 range. We'll actually hit. I feel fairly confident of that, at least.
Engaging with target.
Not even really overkill by that much. Like, if one of those AC-20s had gone off center, we probably still wouldn't have gotten the kill.
Down.
Orion's a pretty big mech.
I'm here. Moving at full throttle.
Waiting for orders. Moving to position.
Wonder how much more there is.
Giving them everything I've got.
Because honestly, I could see this being the end of the mission right here.
Mech warriors, show them what you got.
Those are some pretty high damage turrets, and then this is a reasonably tough lance. I could see this being what they considered like a 3 or a 3.5. It's probably a little light for a 3.5. Dropship inbound.
Targets down.
I guess part of the reason it was light is because we were able to take out those turrets trivially, which you might not be able to do with a lance that is the appropriate difficulty for this level. Excellent work, Commander. Most excellent work indeed. The munitions factory is yours, and our trap has been set. Now all we need to do is sit back and wait. Yeah. It's kind of interesting with the difficulty rating really mostly reflecting an expected tonnage from the enemies. There's not a lot of room, I guess, in the difficulty rating for like representing. I think this mission will be tricky. I think you will have to be smart to not take damage here. So we don't actually need any of these mech parts, although obviously a finished mech is pretty sellable. Plus 10 damage medium laser is an interesting thing that might be... Do I want a plus 10 damage medium laser over a finished Thunderbolt? You know, we never stop running into Thunderbolts. I think we actually are at this point of the game. There are still lasers on my Grasshopper that don't do 35 damage. And honestly, like, we really don't need... We're getting very little value out of, like, plus accuracy lasers and stuff. Because, like, half of the lasers on that mech have plus accuracy, but it almost never matters. We're very, very frequently firing the lasers in situations where we're at, like, 90 or 95%. A lot of that accuracy bonus is being wasted anyway. You'd have to be firing from, like, real bad range against the thing that had a bunch of evasion or something for that to matter much. Well, that seemed to go well enough. Now all we have to do is sit on the factory until Lord Jesper shows up. Yeah, about that. Lily, we have a problem. I just got off the comm with a man by the name of Miguel Zapata. He's sort of a community organizer for the inhabitants of this valley. What inhabitants? I don't see any towns or villages around here. Well, that's the thing. As it turns out, this whole AO is densely populated. There's an expansive network of subterranean habitations and tunnels surrounding the munitions factory, and they weren't built to support the weight of a lance of battle mechs. Ah. I sure did bring heavy battle mechs, too. Yikes. Are the inhabitants okay? More or less, for the time being at least. Most of the locals rode out the fight in an old bunker, but it won't survive any more collateral damage. These people won't make it through another fight, but they can't run without our help. The whole valley is surrounded by bandit camps and outriders, and they'll do unspeakable things to any unarmed civvies that try to make a run through their territory. I'm not gonna lie, boss, the thought of a bunch of regular folks getting killed off over some aristocrat's stupid-ass political prank makes my blood boil. If Stiglitz Bradford were here right now, I'd give him the back of my metal hand. I don't really think this is his fault, man. Well, it's a good thing he isn't here, then. He's still our client, Yang. Client or no, his juvenile ploys put a lot of civilians in harm's way. And, as much as I hate to say it, we've helped him do it. We have a responsibility to escort those people to safety, Commander. It's the right thing to do. I'm as enthusiastic about charity as anyone else, but we're already on contract to do another combat mission for House Steiner. If we help the locals, we'll be putting our own people and battle mechs at risk for nothing. Hell, it's worse than that. We'll be devaluing our services in front of a client. I'm assuming this Zapata guy can't pay us anything? Not as such, no. Most of the locals' belongings are buried in a pile of rubble. There's one other wrinkle to consider before you come to a decision. If we leave the AO to help these people, we won't have time to return to the Argo for repairs afterward. Win or lose, we'll have to march, or limp, right back to the factory to fight Lord Jesper's lance. Okay. That's the situation we're in. Anyway, Lily, there are good reasons to help these people, and good reasons not to. We do still have another contract to finish for House Steiner. That doesn't change whatever you choose. So, do we help Zapata and his people or not? Well, I mean, obviously, I am inclined to say yes, of course we help them. We put them into this. Lily, I think, is a little bit more mercenary than I am, but I think that in this case, like, we're so far past the difficulty of this mission right now, and there's very little cost to agreeing to help the locals. It is extremely unlikely that any of our battle mechs take any real damage, and even if they did, we do have an entire B team that also is higher level than the missions we're facing here. It's like, there's no cost to helping these people, and maybe they're not 100% unable to pay, you know? There could be something in it for us. Maybe they know something. Like, we're risking nothing to potentially get not nothing. At least potentially. I think we just go for it. Let's help him. Tell Zapata and his people that we'll get out of... Tell Zapata that we'll help his people get out of here. Sentence structure makes more sense when you read all the words in it. Whether they can pay for it or not. We'll worry about finishing the Steiner contract after the locals are safe. This is easy. Roger that, Commander. I'll let him know. Alright. We don't have to fly directly into this. I think I'm not going to start this up here after we've hit the hour already, because it's going to flow right into the next mission immediately. So that is going to be it for us for today. I do believe that the overlay did not actually come up. What is going on with this overlay lately? There we go. That is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time to see us save some people, hopefully for some reward. You know what? At the very least, we'll get to take home pieces of whatever bandits we destroy. That's some reward. And we'll see you then.